The world needs a new religion, and it's a dire necessity of the present times. And I say this because the old religions, even the latest religion, the Buddhism, it's around 2500 years old. So the religion, and there are around 4000 religions that are prevalent in today's world, and out of which we know about 10 major religions of present times, such as Christianity, Islamism, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Taoism, and their various sects and offshoots, their branches. Okay, and many countries, many nationalities, many ethnicities, they have their own religions, minor religions, and it may be that uh, many such minor religions they may contribute to make a bigger one, a major religion, whatever the case be. Even if I talk about uh, Abrahamic religions, the Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, all three they cover up to 85% of population. But my point is not to talk about the composition of today's religious world. My point is that we are in need of a new religion in present times. So I may catch eye of many people, and many religious people may find it blasphemous that I am talking about something that is beyond my control and something that is beyond my authority. Someone who should talk about religion or godly matters must be competent and religious enough, must hold an authoritative power to talk about such topics. Otherwise, it's a blasphemy in present world. And I don't want to sound irreligious, and I don't want to sound irresponsible towards feeling of people. Let's elaborate what my conscience says. My point is the old religions were created in those times when those old things or when those uh, old times were prevalent. So old things, the old wisdom that worked up to some time. And really, there are some teachings in every religion that are beyond beyond getting old. They're immemorial, they are immortal. Those things that have been going on for millennia, immemorial. But the majority of things, the majority of the testaments or majority of the uh, rituals, or I would say fundamentals of religions, they are not in synchronization with present times. And when I talk about present times, you all know that the present times that are, I don't know how the past times were. We do not have this much technology. Uh, the older generation, they did not have this much technology and this much proliferation of information or the transmission of information to convey their thoughts. Suppose there was someone in around 1000 BC. So someone in Babylonia might not have talked to someone in India at that time. And even that with the electronic communication, why I'm transmitting my message, or via the passage or the media through which I am conveying my message. So those things were not prevalent that time, and the information spread that we have now, the information leverage that the present generation hold, it was not available that time. So I don't know how the older times were, but the present times which I'm going to talk about, the present times, they are tough. The present times are lonely. The present times are expensive. The present times are bloody, tortuous. Yes, they are good things as well. I am not totally painting it black. Yes, it contains all the colors of a rainbow. There are many colors to life, so as with the other aspects of life. But what I am saying is, in the present times, when things are becoming tough and people are becoming lonely and families are breaking up and frontiers are breaking up, we are all ready to eat each other out. And that's so with so much information and so much connection between us. So we think if we are so much connected in present times, we can easily accumulate all the information, or accumulate all the older wisdom that we have, and we can create a new thing. And so it can be one solution. And the other solution, that is not just solution, the other angle that I'm going to talk about, that religion itself has become poisonous. It is because at one, it is not catering to the present demands. It is not catering to present situation. And second, when it is not resolving the present problems, it it has resorted to something malicious, something that is not working up any solution, something that is not helping. So it is resorting to malicious acts, such as um, such as a mockery of human conscience. But yes, I can say we are a lot better than the 10th century, or you can say the dark ages of Christianity, or even the dark ages that was prevalent in ancient India or any ancient civilizations, when there were a lot of rituals, trials, tribulations, ordeals, expensive uh, customs, and total devotion to popular religious authority. We don't have that now. But whatever is left of those old religion, what we have now is not a homogeneous, a concrete thing, and even after that, it is not helping. So my point is straightforward. The older religions, they had been good in their times. They have been working for a long time, but the present time, they needs a new solution. So either it can be a new religion, or some tweaks, some assemblages, some accumulation, some integration, some tampering, some consolidation, whatever it is, some new solution. And now let's talk about the history of religions as such. Well, let's start with the Big Bang that happened 13.8 billion years ago, when our universe came into existence. Then 5 billion years ago, when our solar system, sun and its planet, they came into existence, came into being. Then 4.5 billion years ago, when earth came into being. 3.5 billion years ago, when life came into being. and coming down to 200,000, or specifically I can say the 2 million years ago, when the Homo lineage of our ancestor that came into being, and now here we are, 200,000 to 300,000, when Homo sapiens, our stock, our species that came into existence, that came into life, and from that 300,000 years ago, we have surrounded this planet, we have reproduced, we have improvised, we have survived, and we have proliferated this, we have enveloped this earth. This timeline, it can be from 300,000 to 2024 AD. So this timeline, it can be divided into some stone ages, and some of us who have done good schooling must have heard this term, stone age. So it's about how the Homo species, us, how we came to dominate the world. So the major part of our history, around say 99%, it is unwritten, and we know about it just by excavations and fossils. And this 99% timeline is divided into stone ages, Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic. So these are nothing but, this is old stone age, this is middle stone age, and this is new stone age. And there was nothing. Stone was common in all of them, and stone here is that is being talked about here all the time. The stone relates to the tools that we used, the tools that came on disposal, that the tools that help in our survival. And before that, before Paleolithic, so it started around 40,000 years ago. So you can say from 300,000 to 40,000 years ago, this this time around 250,000 years, 260,000 to be precise. So these 260,000 years, we have been one of the animal species in this animal kingdom. So we were living as animals, between the animals, as animals. So our existence was solely like to wake up, to find food, to protect ourselves and protect our family, and to reproduce. So this animal existence that continued for 260,000 years ago, and when we came to our senses, when we started dominating things, and it happened because our species, the Homo species, the Homo sapiens, we somehow we survived. And it's a rule of life. If you survive, it means you have ensured two things. First, your own survival, that you continued up to some time, and then you ensure the survival of your offspring, your children. So in those 260,000 years, our ancestors, they somehow protected themselves and our ancestors, their children, from predators, from drought, from inclement weather, from climate, from disease, from ice ages, from frost, from hunger. So they fought a lot, they survived a lot, and they ensured the continuation of our continuation of a species is certain, if it is ensured, so one day those one person is going to become two, two are going to become four, and four are going to become many. So this exponential growth can be ensured once we hold out for for a certain time. And this is how we came into a bigger picture. Now, the part of a bigger picture is here. This, these stone ages. So the things that help in our survival, such as fire, wheels, and tools. Tools that we made use of, tools that we use in hunting, foraging, gathering, uh, keeping predators at bay. So these stone ages, it's about the tools that we use, stone tools that we use. In Paleolithic, our tools were crude. They were not much technology. It's just that we had a brain that size around 1350 cc, that it means is 1.3 kg, or around 2.8 pounds. And with this brain, at first we could invent those crude tools, but the things that really helped us, as I said, two things. One is brain and other is culture. So we had a good sized brain, an efficient and working brain that helped us observe and learn from our surrounding. And we did it. We observe other species. We observe other animals. We observe the plants. We observe ants. We observe other uh, birds, their feeding behaviors, and we learned from them. So this tool is a manifestation of a learning. And second, culture. I emphasize culture here because culture, in short, is that we do not have to invent fire all the time in each generation. We learn from others. That has been the case for all those time, that everyone in our species, we had this knowledge of fire, we had knowledge of crude tools, and we kept improving our knowledge. And that could only happen if we had a system which helped in transmission of this knowledge. And this system is known as culture. So we had a working culture throughout the domination of our species, in which we kept improving, we kept learning, we kept observing, we kept gathering and analyzing data, analyzing information, and then whatever we have learned, by sacrificing, by trial and error, by working on it, we we transmitted that information horizontally and vertically. So horizontally is that the information was transmitted or the shared between all the members that were present that time, and vertically by means the information or the knowledge, it was shared in the family. So it was transmitted from our generation, from parents to children. So by that, we never had to reinvent fire all the time. We never had to reinvent wheel all the time. We never had to reinvent farming, agriculture, herding, domestication, uh, all such technology that we have learned. We never had to reinvent all those things just because we had a working culture. Now, when we kept improvising the the crude stone tools of Paleolithic, by Mesolithic, those tools became good. So when I talk about Mesolithic, and Neolithic age, as I've said, we had a working culture that kept improving knowledge transmitted both horizontally and vertically, both sideways and up down. So the crude tools of Paleolithic that gave way to finer tools of Mesolithic. So by this time we had finer tools, and finer tools that it meant we can tear down flesh. We had clothes, hides, skins to keep ourselves warm. We had harpoons, we had spears, we had weapons to kill prey, and then the same tools were used for agriculture. I would say primitive agriculture, such as simpler hoe and all these tools. But these tools became finer and more sophisticated, and so finer tools added with ivory, bones, and certain metals. So now we had an upper hand. We had good advantage when compared to other species because the finer tools became another extension of our lives, and it helped in our survival. So more survival means more children mean more family. Now come to the Neolithic. By Neolithic times, there were many changes. As I have said, a working brain and a working culture, both the things, working brain and working culture, both these things, they help that our species was continued, and second, improvise improved knowledge was transmitted. So the were finer tools gave way to, or they evolved into much finer tools with more metals. Plus we started a satellite because we had started domesticating and farming. So it was settled communities plus agriculture. So these settled communities, they gradually give way to villages, and villages become smaller towns. Population increase. We have a constant supply of food grains. We have constant supply of other milk products. So it was more chance of survival in those harsh climate, in those harsh and tough times. So by Neolithic, the survival was ensured. And now the religion thing. So there was something in human mind from time immemorial because we have many cave paintings, we have many sketches or many frescoes and many such artworks that has been done by the people of those times, people of Paleolithic and proto-history, that is the time beyond the Paleolithic. So both proto and prehistoric times, we have examples that the imagination thing, the human mind started thinking about something. It may have been their dreams, it may have been what they saw, it may have been their innate or some internal working, it may have been their innate the craft thing. But something changed and they started devoting some time to imagination. And with the devotion, coupled with Neolithic survival Neolithic survival, and settled life. Both these, they did one thing. They emerged specialized working. Earlier, the work was not specialized. Everyone was hunter and forager. Because first, we did not have that much information. We were very simple. And second, the necessity of those times, they required keen focus and complete time to either hunting, the protection of family, and such primitive works. But by Neolithic, when settled life was ensured, when food grains and other um, amenities necessary for survival, they kept coming up. So in that case, the work was specialized. And some were tool makers, some became fighters and protectors, some went into farming business, some went into crafting business, some into trading business, and that's how the work specialization started. And with work specialization and coupled with the imagination thing that I talked about earlier, both these things, they led people to wonder about the world that there is. Because earlier, when their survival was at stake, people did not, and majority of people did not look at this the mystery of world from that angle. But when it was ensured that villages came up, towns came up, and somehow they were far more secure than the Mesolithic and Paleolithic people. So right now, when specialization started, people started devoting their time, but people started looking at the world from a different perspective, and that perspective, it centered around the mysteries of the world, the mysteries of everything, the mysteries of the earth as we see it, mystery like the total space, stars, mountains, rivers, how things grow, the working of things. So all those, the worldly mysteries, they gave way to religion and an idea of God. And I know, yes, they have been, because life was always there, element of God was always there, because we are just an extension of it. So, so this God thing, so you can call it God, you can call it life, you can call it mystery, you can call it fate, you can call it destiny, because we have suffered it, we have faced it, we have tasted both victory and failures, we have tasted both good and bad times, um, we have had an experience of both hope and despair, we have an experience of both joy and loss, and in all this time, each one of us, or most of us individually, we have had an encounter with the idea of God. So this thing, it can only be felt, but each one of us and each one of our ancestors, I cannot uh, certainly say that each one of us or the ancestor have had that encountering experience with this mystery or with God. But I can certainly say the majority of us and majority of our ancestors, they have had this experience. They have had a certain mesmerizing experience, that chills, those goosebumps, those revelations. So when each one of us and each one of our ancestors have had that experience, and when they shared it out, when these things came out of their mind from their individual spheres, and it became common when 8 out of 10 people share that they have this experience, so that they do something about it because this experience is common. Only the form, the passage, the message, and the revelation, it might be different, but the common idea, the basic idea that something that is beyond our capacity, something that is beyond our knowledge is there and is watching over us and is inside us or is near us. This thing, this this might have needed something to rationalize it, or not just rationalize it. It needed something to to give it a shape. So religion was something that gave shape to the idea of God. It was the basic purpose. And after Neolithic time, we have had that work specialization thing. So any person who could be placed in charge of religion or placed in charge of handling those religious affairs, it could be ensured and it could be accommodated because we already have those work specializations and we did not have to recruit all the people for hunting or foraging business. So yes, religious functionaries were there and they could be accommodated. And with time, religion became a vehicle to transmit both culture and people's feeling about God. It became a good vehicle, and I really appreciate it that our ancestors thought that way. Because right now, in these days, I don't find a common ground between people, but our ancestors, they found religion. So basically, religion may have started to give shape to or give form to the mysteries around us, but later, our wise ancestors, they used the same vehicle so that our culture, it could spread far and wide. And the customs and the rituals we see now, some of which are outdated, but at that time those were necessary and those were routine things. It's just that somehow they had to be propagated, they had to be transmitted, they had to be reached out to people, and people needed to learn it in those times when education and electronic transmission was not possible. In those times, the religion becomes a vehicle of propagation, and the culture was easily transmitted across generations. And it worked well. It worked nice, and that's how the same religion thing, the new religion kept coming up. Uh, Religion that were based on geographies. So because culture itself is a face of geography. Culture can only present those things which are present in a particular geography, such uh, as I talk about India, the cow thing, and this thing has been maligned to maligned and exploited to an unimaginable level, and it is. But the real idea at that time was that India is a tropical and semi-tropical countries, and people really revere or respect farming business, agriculture, and domestication. And both these things, cow becomes helpful. It becomes helpful because cow, it provided oxen, milk product, and a kind of security. All three things to that society, the ancient Indian society. So it was respected, and it was respected. So killing it was an offense, and it was an offense. Why would you kill the The same geese that gave you golden egg. You might have heard this story. The geese and golden egg. So cow was giving you everything. It was giving you oxen that could work in your farm. It is giving you milk and milk product that can help you feed your family, and it is giving a security. All these things. In that case, so killing it was not an option at all. So it wasn't banned at that time, and it wasn't considered necessary. But I would say it was respected, and it was functional and devotional both. And now, where I started, the culture is the face of geography. So cow is respected in India, in ancient India, because of its utility, because of its devotion. But it was a geographical thing. We cannot have an Indian cow in European climate, and in the same way we cannot have the polar yaks in an Sahara desert. So you get my point. So the culture thing is geographical, and with it comes customized geography, customized religions, or geography specific religions, such as we have uh, a different religion for Fertile Crescent and Levant region that's around the Middle East and Anatolia or Spanish region. We have a different religion there, the Abrahamic religion that sprang out of Abrahamic religion that sprang out of Jerusalem. Then we have a religion that is based in India. Then we have some religion that is prevalent in China and Southeast Southeast Asia. Then we have different religions in Japan and Korea. And these religions, these different religions, they kept spreading. Many people came into their fold. They kept integrating many cultural factors which increase its appeal. So when its appeal was increased, many people joined these religions, and these religions, they kept proliferating. They increased their presence because the primitive mind and the modern mind, so both these minds are same clueless about those mystery of the world. So our ancestor and we both are common when it comes to God. We don't know what it is. We don't know what life is. We don't know what life's mysteries are. We can just guess it. So religion comes to our rescue. It has something. It had some diktats. It had some rituals. It possesses the authority. It possesses it holds the organization by which we can feel that we are a part of something that is outwardly, something that is godly, and it really helps us in our mind. It eases our heart in tough times. Now, coming back to the topic I started with. So I have given you all the background, but the present times. So what is missing in these present times is that the world has changed. It has skewed. Skewed in the sense that first we have become a law. We have crossed 8 billion. And second, we are far superior than our ancestors. Third thing, the material culture has taken a big hit or uh, a big made a big influence in our life. We are consuming more, and one more thing, we have become lonely, and the next thing, we have become physically weak. So I would say it's a fourfold loss: physical plus mental plus psychological, and the fifth spiritual. So our lot, the people who are present in our times, the 8 billion, we are failing on a big, failing highly, or failing a big time on all these four aspects. Physically, the sedentary lifestyle that started with the Neolithic, and right now with more gadgets, more technologies, more comfort, and with that the heightened presence of clinics and medical services, over the counter medicines, the proliferation of private hospitals and medical facilities, proliferation of food chain, junk food chain. So right now we are getting everything easily, and we are eating it out in a sedentary way. We are not physically working very much. We are not troubling ourselves. So physically we are not that tough. We have become very weak. I cannot compare ourselves with the ancestors, because those were mm, our ancestors could outrun many predators. Each one of us, even our mothers, they could outrun predators. They could climb trees. They could walk barefoot for 40-50 kilometers a day. That tough our species was. But right now, the physical comfort, it has made us something very weak. Mentally, earlier our species, the mental toughness was there. We were mentally very tough, because to live in a wild jungle with other predators, and to live with them as animals, and to devise things, to bear losses, and to continue our species, to continue amid all the setbacks, it needed a lot of mental toughness, lot of mental caliber. And our ancestors did. They were really mentally tough, but we are not. The psychological aspect, you can see it. If physically and mentally you are not tough, something is bound to knock you down. That's why people here these days, they are suffering from many physical and mental ailments, such as depression, uh, bipolar disorders, anxiety, it's called cardio, cranial ailments. So by this it means physical, by related to heart, and related to brain. So we are suffering at all three levels: the physical level, the level of heart, level of brain, and one more kind of disorder that are coming up or surfacing right now, the neurological disorders that are also harassing us. So psychologically, we have a lot to catch up with our ancestors. And the spiritual part, this this is where this religious things fit well and works well. Our ancestors, they had less to worry. I can say less to worry. Yes, less to worry and more to work. That kind of attitude. And they did it because they knew that nothing was in their hand. and whatever was there in hand, they worked it well. So if they lost something, if they came across something that was unpleasant or unforeseen, they had less to worry about it, because living in a jungle, it's an unpredictable and highly risky life, and more to work, because they had for invention of fire to the modern gadgets, we have come a long way. So, and this long this long transition could have happened only if we sat on the shoulders of giants. It's a phrase, to sit on the shoulder of giant. It means we had prior knowledge, the knowledge that was transmitted to us. We had culture by which we knew a lot of things before we even started, or before we even born. So before our birth, we knew a lot of things. When we were zero, our ancestors knew something. And when our ancestors knew something, they taught us. So if their knowledge was 100, they taught us. And by our life experience, we made it 110. And the upcoming generation, they made it 120. So that's how we kept going up this long. We kept inventing and improvising this long. But the spiritual level at that time and the spiritual level right now, both are different. They were reverent. The attitude was something that worked that worked for them. But the present generation, they need something to make sense of their surrounding. They need something to the unpredictable thing that is happening right now, just like climate change, global warming, heartless society, nuclear families, so this cutting edge competition, sorry, not cutting edge, cutthroat competition, the societal pressure and expectations, the malaise that we see now. So what the new challenges of present times, they are they are getting on on the nerves of people, the present people, the coming generation, and they need something to be joyous about, to be joyous about life, because life is not that all painted in dark, all black or all gloomy. Life has all the colors, but the present generation, they are just seeing the gloom, this sorrow. Even if they have all the material comforts, but they are not happy. Even if they have their kids around them, even if they have the latest gadgets, even if they have all the things that their ancestors could not even imagine, they they are hopeless. They are not happy. They are sad. So in these times, people need something, and that something is not being catered about the old religions. Old religions are there. They may come to some help. They may give some, respite. They may provide some temporary relief. But the the wound, it's not healing. The wound of gloom, the wound of sorrow, the wound of mental crisis, the the wound of long face, the wound of hopelessness. So all these wounds are, they are not standing up. So that's why I say the world, it needs a new religion, a religion that can address the the present situation, the present crisis, the present unforeseen and unpredictable and unwanted experiences. A religion that can provide respite and relief to people, a religion that can provide direction to people, a religion that can provide guide to some of the mysteries, a religion that can reveal something about the mysteries of the world and our species, and a religion that can ease heart of people. So that's why I say the present times, our world, it needs a new religion. Thank you.